I think some of the critical ingredients of our approach to trying to serve and support the populations that we serve is, number one, meeting the individual where they are. People are at all different points, and we have to be able to connect to where they are at that time so we can make sure that we're motivating them to do the difficult work of changing their lives. The other element of our services that I do think sometimes distinguishes us from other service providers is that we're really committed to taking the long journey with the people that we serve. We're not in the business of just making today a little more comfortable or making misery more palatable. We really want to help them change their lives, really transform their circumstances, and to make sure that after they've gone through our services, that they are as highly functioning, as self-sufficient, and as capable of continuing that as possible. I often tell adults when we're talking about foster care, imagine that in a matter of hours, everything in your life changed. You lost your job, you moved to a new home, every relative that you've known had disappeared and gone away. And in a day, somebody had to create an entirely new existence for you, of which nothing was familiar.
When I was 7 years old, my father passed away. I moved with my aunt, and I stayed with her till about 13 years old. She sent me to every family member house that I could possibly think of. She actually didn't want me. At 11 years old, I went to live with my cousin. She sent me back to my aunt. I went to Milwaukee to live with my cousin. He couldn't handle it, sent me back to Chicago. I moved down the street with one of her friends. Couldn't stay there, you know, so she sent me back to my aunt. And during that time, I was also smoking and drinking. I started smoking and drinking very young. I think I was 11 years old. So that was also a part of that problem. One day I went home and she didn't let me in the house, and I went to school, and they called Volunteers of America. From that day on, I've been in the system with Volunteers of America. To live in a foster home is it's kind of scary. You're not growing up with your brothers and your sisters. You're growing up with people that you don't know. And then meet my mom. I didn't meet my mom, my brothers, or my sister until I got into the system. My mother, me and her do not have a relationship. She left me as a baby. I forgive her, but we can't have a relationship.
Volunteers of America stays with kids for a lifetime, and just really being a part of their lives. And I've seen kids transition to adulthood, like Mary. We're still, not that we have a whole lot of maintenance to do with her right now, but they come back and they want to see what's going on and how we can help, and they volunteer.
I moved out, went into my own apartment, and when I was 17, I bought a car. They've helped me with school. Now I'm in college. They've helped me with finding a job. They have helped me with anything that I need as far as medical assistance, and they've just been wonderful for me.
A lot of people talk about the goal of foster care is reunification. I actually believe that the goal of foster care is to give children a family, whatever that looks like. Sometimes it's reunification, sometimes it's being connected with other biological relatives who can give them that sense of family, and sometimes it's also with an adopted family. But in every instance, our goal is to look at the child and to determine what is going to make that child's life better, what is in that child's best interest. 20 years from now, what's going to be the choice that we make today that will help that child be a healthy, happy, high-functioning adult?
They're like family to me. They've always been there for me. I love them.
Most people expect that veterans, after the sacrifice they've made for our country, for our way of life, that when they return, that there's going to be an abundance of opportunities there for them to take advantage of. The shocking reality is that that just happens not to be the case.
Veterans lead the nation in homelessness, depression, substance abuse, suicides, and we're right up there in joblessness as well. And after having spent 38 years knowing those youngsters while they served in uniform, that statement was a real kick in the gut to understand what that meant.
For a significant percentage of our returning veterans, I think that most of us blissfully are unaware of the real cost of fighting for our freedom, and that cost is borne most heavily by the soldiers that are returning.
After high school, I joined the military. I joined the Air Force. So I just got out like about 2.5 years ago. I went to Iraq 5 months out of basic training. I had to learn trial by fire, I guess. It was an experience, not necessarily a pleasant one. On the way in, there's a lot of turbulence due to RPGs and people shooting at us from the ground. And the pilot was doing almost like barrel rolls in a C-130. And we had 30 people in the back just crammed like sardines together with all our gear and everything. It was at least like 100 degrees in there. And that was, my first view into Iraq. And then when we landed, of course, 7 minutes later, we started getting mortared. We got mortared about 3 or 4 times a day. We had to worry about sniper fire in certain areas of the base. When we went outside of the base, especially, we always had to go in a group, in a squad, at least 10 people with a senior NCO as well, because we had to worry about, IEDs, UXOs, which are unexploded ordnance. I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. I mean, I was especially like the first 2 weeks there, I couldn't sleep. After a couple weeks, you get used to it. It either hits you or it doesn't. And you gotta put your faith in God and just hope that it doesn't happen. When I got back, as soon as I got home, my mom's condo got foreclosed on. She was essentially on the streets too. It was a nightmare, to be honest. Sometimes I couldn't sleep. Like I had insomnia. I would wake up sweating. I went to a vet center and they said I had PTSD and generalized anxiety disorder. I was bouncing around for about 2 years, different people's homes. First family, then friends. Then I lived in my car for like the entire winter. And when I came here, I saw what the place was like, and it was beautiful. They've been helping me a lot with my resume, with interviewing skills. That's one thing that I was sorely lacking, because I had one job pretty much since I was 18, and that was all I knew. They didn't teach us those things in the military.
These veterans come back and, there's just not a structure to help them assimilate back into society. So many of them come back with mental illnesses or physical illnesses, are jobless, trying to keep their families together. And what this organization does, which is, really impressive, is giving them support services of job training, mental health services, physical health. All of that helps them get back into society.
These are people with stories and a purpose in life that have just experienced hardships in one way or another. And there's no face that's characteristic of homelessness. It's not just someone out there that's lazy or someone out there that wants to work the system. These are people that they want to work, they want to contribute to society. These are veterans that are proud for serving their country. And I can't tell you how many times the guys will tell us, I'm a veteran. And they're really proud for that. And so it's a tragedy that there has to be homeless veterans.
And then when I got here and I saw the sign out front, I saw Hope Manor, and then when I actually saw the place and that I could stay here, it's the perfect name for it, because after so long living on the street, having no hope whatsoever, it gave me hope for a better future, a better me.
Our senior work is something that everyone can relate to, because the one thing that is common to every human being is, if we're lucky enough, we're all going to get older. That's really our goal, is quality of life. And how are we bringing a sense of belonging and a sense of community and a sense of comfort, and again, on our best days, a sense of joy to the people that are calling Volunteers of America home.
I was living with my daughter and my grandsons, but I felt I needed to be on my own, do my own thing. Here I come down and go down and play bingo, do chair aerobics, do the Wii bowling. There's more things for the seniors to do if they want to participate. I enjoy it. I'm always on the go. Even my family, my daughters are glad that I came here, because they know that I'm active and that I want to be doing things, and they say, well, here you're not cooped up in the apartment all the time. They see that I'm enjoying staying here and meeting new people and have new friends, my age. And everybody's so nice here. They're always right there for you,
Marycrest Village is a senior community. We do have 57 units here. We're normally 95 to 100% occupied. They sometimes refer to this as the Hilton of Joliet. The property has a great reputation. The homes are beautiful and well kept, and as I mentioned, the property kind of sells itself. People just love when they walk in, the bright colors, the life that's always going on here. We have a great resident committee. So as you can see by the bulletin board, when you walk in the property, there's some activity going on every day.
My neighbors are good, very friendly. They say hello, my friend, to everybody. We come here once in a while to talk. It's a beautiful place. I love it. I will never move out of here. If they want me to move, they have to push me out.
One of the common themes in many of the populations we serve is their experience of trauma. We really focus heavily on their inside life. So how do we help give them the coping skills? How do we help give them the internal resources? And how do we create natural support networks for them that they can take with them after they leave our particular services? And that's how we hope that we're really going to change lives. Not just today, not just next month, not just next year, but that people 20 years from now will still be experiencing the benefit of having gone through some of our services.